Hey kindergartners, it's Mrs. Seals back for our next science lab. So for the past couple weeks, we've been talking about what we call objects in the sky. We talked about the sun, the moon, the stars. Today, we're going to talk about another object in the sky, which is the clouds. So your target says I can observe, describe, and illustrate objects in the sky, such as the clouds. So let's make sure we all understand what are clouds. A lot of times people think that clouds are made of cotton candy or cotton balls or some other fluffy stuff, but clouds are actually a large collection of very tiny droplets of water or ice crystals. So clouds are actually made up of water. The droplets are so small and light that they can float in the air. So what happens is all the water that's on our earth in our lakes and oceans and rivers and streams, when it gets heated up by the sun, the sun's heat causes the water to rise up into the atmosphere, and that's called evaporation. And then once the tiny droplets of water that we call water vapor are up there in the atmosphere, it's very cold. So what happens is when those tiny droplets of water called water vapor touch something like dust or other things that are floating around in the atmosphere, they turn back into water. That's called condensation. And all those tiny drops of water and particles of dust or other things floating around come together to form clouds. And when the clouds get really big and full and heavy, that's when we have rain or snow or sleet or hail or another form of precipitation. So clouds are made up of tiny drops of water or ice crystals. And when you listen to a weather report, the meteorologist describes the amount of clouds in the sky. Sometimes the sky looks like this. The whole sky is covered in clouds. It might not necessarily be raining or storming, but it's a very kind of gray day where you want to just stay in bed. And when it looks like this, we say that it's overcast. Can everybody say overcast? Very good. That means the whole sky is kind of covered in a blanket of clouds. Other times the sky looks like this, where part of the sky has clouds, but part of the sky is also, clear and sunny. This is called partly cloudy. Can everybody say partly cloudy? Very good. And then finally, sometimes there are no clouds in the sky. The sky is blue, the sun is shining bright, and we would call that a sunny or a clear day. That's my favorite kind of day. So clouds sometimes look like other things. So here's a picture of a cloud that I think kind of looks like maybe a baby bear or something like that. You can use your imagination and decide what you think it looks like. That's the cool thing about clouds is it may look like a baby bear or something like that to me, but it may look like something else to you. I think that this one looks kind of like a dolphin or maybe a whale swimming in the ocean. There's its tail and its body and its head. You might think it looks like something else. This one to me looks like a big heart shape in the middle of the clouds. So clouds can often look like different things. So for those of you that are at home, some ways you could practice drawing and identifying the clouds. You could draw what the clouds look like today. You could see if you can find any pictures in the clouds. Again, this is not required. If you do draw the clouds or make something with clouds, feel free to send me a picture. I'd love to see it. The kids in class are going to be making something to show and remind them what those three words mean: overcast, partly cloudy, and clear. So each student is going to get a blue piece of construction paper that looks like this, folded into three sections. The top one, they are going to label with the word clear. This Sharpie isn't working very well. Let me get a better one. And then the middle one, they're going to label partly cloudy. And then the bottom one, we're going to label overcast. So there I've labeled my 3 sections: clear, partly cloudy, and overcast. And then each student is going to get some glue and some cotton balls. Now, we just talked about clouds are not really made of cotton or cotton balls, right? They're actually made of tiny drops of water, but cotton balls look like clouds. So remember, we've talked about this a lot when we're in science lab or, science class. We cannot always use the real thing. Like we can't bring a real cloud into our science lab, right? So we're using things to represent other things. This is called a model. So we're using cotton balls to represent clouds, even though clouds are not actually made of cotton balls, okay? So we're gonna use our cotton balls to show what the sky looks like during each of these times when it's clear, partly cloudy, and overcast. So hopefully you remember from our pictures and our discussion, when the sky is clear, there are no clouds in the sky. The sky is very blue. The sun is shining bright. So I'm not going to put any cotton balls on my section that says clear. Partly cloudy. Hopefully you remember that when the sky is partly cloudy, there are some clouds, but the whole sky is not covered in clouds. So on a partly cloudy sky, I can also see some blue sky and sunshine. So for my partly cloudy sky, I'm just going to maybe put 1 or 2 cotton balls. So I'm going to glue this down and I'll show you what it looks like in just a second. Add some glue. There's my cotton ball cloud. All right, so for my partly cloudy sky, I just added 1 cloud. I have part of the sky that has clouds, but part of the sky is also blue and sunny. And then our last one is overcast. And hopefully you remember that when it's overcast, the whole sky is covered in clouds. So let's see what that's gonna look like. I'm gonna work on it and then I'll show you in just a second, okay? I'm kind of stretching out my cotton balls to make them look like clouds. I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to maybe add just 1 more. I'm not going to cover up the word overcast because I want to remember what this sky is called. All right, so there is my overcast sky completely covered in clouds. So hopefully this will help you remember that when we have a clear sky, we have no clouds. When we have a partly cloudy sky, we have maybe just a few clouds in the sky, but we also have blue sky and sunshine. And then finally, when we have an overcast, when we have an overcast sky, the whole sky is covered in clouds. All right, I hope that you had fun learning about clouds, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.